it going? Brian Fox here with Real Men of Real Estate, and we are coming to you live from KCAA Radio Redlands. And today we got a special event for us. We're going to have a nice long conversation about what is going on in the marketplace from an honest point of view, not one that is just generated based upon what we think the customer might want to hear. So today with me, I have got myself, founder and CEO of the Fox Real Estate Group, avid investor and agent for about 25 years, California native, and host of this show, of course. With me to my left is a really good friend of mine and longtime agent, Clinton Fauché, CEO of the Fauché Real Estate Group. You might also know him from his online presence of TikTok and Instagram at Southern Realtor?
Southern Realtor in OC. Boom.
This guy sells stuff all over the country, so it's good to have him here. And on the phone, we should have, if he's there, we got him. All right, fantastic. Luis DiGonzini. How you doing, buddy? You on with us?
Yep, I'm here. I am doing excellent.
Awesome,
How are you guys?
fantastic. Good.
Good.
So Luis is founder and CEO of the DiGonzini Group, and he is on set to close, 120 transactions this year? Units?
Yeah, we should be on track. As long as we continue our momentum, we should be minimum that.
Very cool.
Ideally, I want to see it at 140, but you know how that goes.
Yeah. I always want 10 more than I have.
Right?
Yeah. So today we got these guys on because of most of the people I know in real estate. This is a very honest bunch. We don't like talking through things that we do not find to be inaccurate, things that are just kind of, fluffy for the business. There's a lot of gray area when it comes to what is going on around us. And we thought that this is a good couple of years to go over and talk about what's been going on. So the question I have for us today is talking about the market. One of the main questions I ever get asked is, how's the market? And most real estate people, they will answer the question based upon what is most valuable for them with that person. I'd like to answer it a little differently. So here's the question. What impact has COVID-19 had on real estate in 2020 and 2021? And what do you see happening into the future if things continue the way they are? And I'm going to push that out to the group. But the reason I'm asking this question in this way is because I would hate to say the politics is a really big thing to do with everything right now, but real estate is, because of the way people are moving, the decisions they're making, is really tied into how people are making their decisions politically. And we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier, Clinton and myself, and I'm really happy to get another voice on this too, but I'll kind of kick it off. For me, a lot of things are happening that, California, first of all, we're in California. And California, we have this thing people call a weather tax, right? You come here for the good weather. So you're going to be okay with the high prices because you get the good weather and you get to live your life. But if these constant changes happen to how people can live their lives in the areas they're in, good or bad, we're not agreeing or disagreeing with those, but the more regulations placed on it, it changes the value of that weather. One of those things happens to be vaccines are a big issue right now. Kids going back to school is a big issue. There's just a lot of turmoil over those things, and people are doing a mass migration out of California. They're going to Florida, Ohio, Washington, Oregon, Texas, a lot of going to Texas. And they're doing that because they will get less regulation upon them, even though they may not have the same lifestyle when it comes to weather, but also housing is cheaper. So it's a trade-off. So for me, what I've been looking at right now is the vaccines. They just passed. Actually, Clint, you might know it. What did they just pass?
They just passed, or it is in the process of, Newsom is going to make it, they're phasing it in. As soon as the FDA approves the vaccine fully, grades 6 through 12 will have to have the vaccine in order to be in school learning.
Right. So real quick, this is not a political show. It's not meant to be one, but we have to look at correlation when we're trying to understand what is going on in the market around us. Because that question, I get that question 5 times a day. How's the market? Is it still going up? Is it going down? Like, what do you see? And so what I try to get people to understand is there is a causality to how people make decisions and the psychology of where they'll go and why they'll go there. So the situation that we're talking about in this particular case is, vaccines in schools. Well, there's some people who just they don't want to vaccinate. They don't want anything to do with that. And so they'll move. And so, I'll kick it over to you too, Luis, but I assume that you're kind of seeing some of this in your marketplace, with your people and the clients you're working with, does this sound accurate? What other things are you seeing affecting 2020, 2021, and moving forward?
Oh yes, no, yeah, I see the same thing even since last year, right? So policy has made a huge, crazy impact on the way we live. And I was born and raised here. I lived in Spokane, Washington, because I went to Gonzaga University. So I lived out there. I shoved snow. So I lived there, Colorado Springs. I've been everywhere, and obviously I travel frequently. But the way that things are now, and what Newsom just is pushing down everyone's throat for mandatory vaccination for kids. That is ruthless. Obviously, now you're losing a lot of rights, and for me, that's obviously having younger kids. My daughter's going to be 3 in November. My son is 6 months. I already planned to send them to private school. They go to private school now. But if he tries to force that on private schools, I either might buy or start my own school. So we have a network of people that are doing pretty well off, that live in our neighborhood in Newport Coast, and we're already talking about starting our own school or buying one, so we can regulate what goes in and what goes out, and just controlling the education so they're more. They can question the policy that comes through, and they can have independent thinking while they contribute to the overall society. But since it's a real estate show, the impact that this is having on real estate is one. There's a couple of things, the QE, the quantitative easing that is pushing down from the government, that has made it super easy for people to acquire more real estate, including myself, right? I keep buying real estate, and you can because the money's so cheap to borrow, right? So that's one. For Orange County alone this year, between January 1st and now, we've seen a growth of 19% in our market, which is insane, but that's what it is. So what we're starting to see is a lot of people that are currently unemployed by choice, that have been milking the system, or taking that $1,000 a week because it's there to take. And I went through this recently because I was hiring 2 employees, and I interviewed 57 people. And out of 220-something people that applied, only those people responded and were interviewed. A lot of them don't want to interview, or they just no call, no show. So they are in a position where they're taking advantage of what the government is providing for them, and they choose to stay home and watch Netflix versus getting out to the workplace and start contributing to society. And that's not sustainable. California is becoming a government-dependent state like Oakland. And Oakland is a very bad place for real estate, as everybody knows, right? So it just, I'll give someone else a chance, but it's affecting everybody. And ultimately, it's going to affect the state, too, because real estate is based on taxes, tax revenue, sales revenue. But if everybody keeps fleeing the state, this is the first time in history where more people leave California versus come into California. So, and the problem is, people like us that are here on the show today, we are business owners. We getting ahead, providing the best for our family, contributing to other people, educating people, and really helping society by helping them grow through business. And the government is not doing that. It's more pushing for dependency. So, right. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. So one of the things 2020. I will kind of want to talk about the progression. So when COVID first happened, everything stopped because no one knew which direction things were going. So everything kind of put a big pause. And there was a lot of debate over what kind of recovery we would have. And I actually did a video on this on YouTube where it talks about actually 6 or 7 different kinds of recovery. And, the recovery we got was the thing stopped and went down a little bit and shot way past where it started. The pent-up demand caused an influx of people wanting to get business done because nothing had actually changed for them economically. So moving into 2021, this has continued for a while until what I've experienced, and this is just me, and this is why I wanted a couple people from different areas to get in on this, is because what I have noticed is I'm seeing things move a little bit slower in different areas. I'm seeing some things that somebody had, let's say in this particular situation, the house is $800,000 and that's a really good priced area. It should be very easy. It should sell in a heartbeat. It's on the market for 30 and 40 days, which is not common to even a month ago. And so the way I've seen this over my career is we get these psychological surges where things just explode and then contract and then explode and then contract. And that's not just when there's, bubbles or bursts, nothing like that. It's just that people have a certain amount of energy that they can expel. And then once you get to a certain point, it deflates a little bit. And so it'll pause. So if I'm to put a pin on what I think will probably happen is we'll have a little bit of a gap before the next minor surge. We're still waiting for the thing that may offset some of the marketplace. But for now, 2020 to 2021 and moving into now 2022, what I am feeling like I'm going to see is the next wave for me as a predictor is going to be the regulations placed on city and state level. And is there a better place to migrate to? Because everyone gets to their breaking point. Everyone gets to the point where they think that's it. I can't do it. And I have a lot of friends going through that now, especially with the kid thing. And again, I'm not trying to focus on politics. It's just that we're making decisions that they didn't have to make 5 years ago. And if you could just be completely stasis in an area, if you're in Orange County, California, or San Diego County, and you're just like, this is my life, this is what I do every day. The moment we changed that with COVID, everyone was second guessing everything because they're like, I don't like this life at all. This is what I want. Oh my God, this is terrible. And so those changes changed how they decided where they're going to be in the future. So Florida has seen astronomical growth. Iowa, Idaho, Wyoming, any place you go and you're competing with a Californian who decided, I no longer want to be in California, you're probably going to lose because everyone in California is forced to compete over real estate. They're forced to compete over prices. And if you move from, let's say here, to outside of Tampa Bay, Florida, where houses are $300,000 and $400,000, that's a car out in places in California sometimes. So they'll move there and say, cash, I'm done, I'm doing it. And they'll pay way more than the house is worth and then systematically drive up the price in the area, which then affects everybody. Clinton has a lot of background in other areas like Alabama. So I kind of want to hear how this stuff is affecting areas where you've been and are from.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, I have 6 kids, so this is like a huge thing, and a lot of people reach out
to me. We're going to keep it
me.
Not political.
The reason I say is because, like I was talking to you, for me, because I'm licensed not just here in California, but in Alabama as well, a lot of people have reached out to me through social media asking to give them property valuations from here in California because of the COVID vaccinations being implemented into the schools. So with that being said, a lot of people are migrating back to or to the South, Florida, which I have a lot of connections in, Atlanta, Alabama, Mississippi,
Louisiana.
Exactly. If they're the South, SOUF, they're really the South. But yeah, a lot of people are looking to move to those states because they don't have, and quite honestly, being from the South, they will never have, I could be wrong, but these mandates that are in place. I know a lot of schools there. I still have a lot of family. All my family is there. They aren't even wearing masks in schools now. It's kind of a free for all. And so, yeah.
Well, so some of that point is then, so the regulations that are changing how people so like if California is great because we got a weather tax, it's great to a point. Texas is great to a point. New York is great to a point. And there's a point in there that you determine, well, let's just say in this situation, this example only, I can go to Louisiana, and in this example, whether it's true or not, just for this example, I can go to Louisiana, and those things are now off the table. What will my lifestyle be if I just don't have to deal with those things again? And they are making those corrections, and they're like, well, I can go there and just not deal with this. I'd rather deal with the weather and the mosquitoes than deal with this. I'd rather deal with the fried food than deal with this, or something. I'm being facetious, but everything that was a part of their lives, they no longer have to deal with that if they can just wrap their head around the living space, the school stuff, things like that. So
right.
The last thing, okay, so yeah, Luis, real quick. Have you spent time out of the state? Where else have you been?
Yeah, so I lived, when I was younger, I lived in Colorado Springs. I lived in Spokane, Washington. I have family in North Idaho, Coeur d'Alene. I was just there a couple of weeks ago.
Nice.
And I have family in Philadelphia, Florida, and obviously I travel to those places, but have pretty much family throughout the country.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah,
and actually, to your comment, I've been looking at Idaho, and I have friends that have moved to Tahoe and other places because of some of this, right? And they're selling the property for $1.4 million, $1.5 million, and then they buy something else cash over there, and they still have money left over. But
No.
yeah.
So real quick, Lisa, I don't want to cut you off, but we have to go to a real quick break. But what we're going to do is we're going to put a pin in this conversation, get a drink water, and come back. And through the next hour, we're going to talk about how this is affecting our market and what you come to expect. We'll see you back here in a few.
Okay.